You're listening to Systemic Era Podcast. The failure was designed.
Inside Trump's Hail Mary pass to the Supreme Court, based on an article by Sabrina Hart. Trump's mail-in voting power grab is not about integrity. The report in here is straightforward. After a federal appeals court blocked key parts of Trump's mail-in voting order, his legal team rushed to the Supreme Court asking for cover while he keeps pushing to control election rules, intimidate officials, and disrupt voting before the midterms. The office he is abusing. The constitutional structure is not subtle. States control federal elections, Congress has a secondary role, and the presidency has only a limited one. Trump is trying to flip that design on its head. He is not protecting elections. He is attempting to move election authority into the executive branch, where he can pressure, punish, and override. That is the actual power struggle here, not confusion, not a policy dispute. A president is testing how much of the ballot he can seize by force of office. The methods are the message. The source lays out a pattern of escalation, pushing the SAFE Act through the Senate, threatening Democratic election officials over voter rolls, demanding Republican states gerrymander black voting majorities out of existence, and ordering the Postal Service not to deliver mail ballots he dislikes. Add the threat of armed, masked ICE agents at polling places, and the point becomes impossible to miss. This is intimidation dressed up as administration. It is voter suppression with a legal brief attached. The court is being asked to run out the clock. Trump's legal line is that his order is just internal policy guidance and therefore not ready for review. That argument is not neutral lawyering. It is a delay tactic. The goal is to keep the machinery moving until states, agencies, and voters are already trapped inside the damage. The administration wants the court to pretend no harm exists until the ballots are already delayed, the rules are already rewritten, and the election is already contaminated. That is not restraint. It is procedural sabotage. Money, maps, and oligarchs. The article also points to financial infrastructure behind the attack. Trump's PAC has raised more than $400 million since the 2024 election. Republican super PACs are sitting on nearly twice the cash of Democratic groups, and Elon Musk has dumped $90 million to Republican candidates despite a felony probable cause finding tied to election bribery. This matters because authoritarian politics is never just one man with a microphone. It is a funding network, a donor class, and a legal strategy all converging on one goal: rig the rules so wealth can keep buying outcomes without accountability. ICE at the polls means abolition, not reform. The threat to station armed, masked ICE agents near polling places is especially grotesque because it weaponizes fear against women and minority voters while laundering the intimidation through immigration enforcement. ICE is not a neutral institution accidentally stumbling into politics here. It is being invoked as a political weapon. That is why reform talk is beside the point. If an agency can be redeployed to terrify voters, it should not be preserved in its current form. Abolish ICE. The real pattern. What this story reveals is not election controversy. It is a governing style built on coercion, delay, and selective lawlessness. Trump's team is not trying to persuade the public that its agenda is popular. It is trying to make voting harder, counting slower, and opposition weaker. A slight Democratic advantage on the generic ballot means little if the other side controls maps, money, courts, and the machinery of suppression. The lesson is not that democracy is fragile in the abstract. It is that power, when held by people willing to abuse it, will always move first against the ballot. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to AlterNet for today's article. With the automated voice of Riza, thanks for listening.